Hello, wrestling fans, wrestling extraordinaires, wrestling critics, wrestling breathing-ish persons. I don't know, but if you watch wrestling and you think it's a generally entertaining way to spend your time, then you've come to the right place because this is the RSN Wrestling Podcast, where we spell out wrestling. Now, I'm joined here with a couple of well-rounded folks, but if I may introduce myself, I am the Nicholas Jason Lopez. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of ProWrestlingOpinion.com, the best pro wrestling site on the planet, bringing you segment-by-segment breakdowns of every conceivable wrestling program on the national circuit, whether it's Raw, NXT, SmackDown Live, 205 Live, AML Wrestling Live, West Coast Wrestling Connection, Impact Wrestling, that show they have on Wednesday nights. Oh yeah, there's three of them: NXT, Lucha Underground, and Ring of Honor. Damn, we have a loaded schedule, but it's what we do. I do it for the readers. They like to read about wrestling. Reading about wrestling is very fundamental, and it puts you over. How about that? And I am with the mastermind Sal,
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
and there's also the big guy Rich, who I think is dead or possibly recovering
We're
somewhat.
having technical difficulties.
I
Well,
maybe he's
difficulties right
having
now.
some difficulties. Well, he
What's
may
up?
be 17.
Of course, of
I had
course.
to make I had to make the dramatic entrance. I'm sorry.
That was so
Here,
dramatic, or practically crickets.
yeah, we could literally make this splash of the year if anything, but yeah,
Well,
that's how it
just
is.
so you guys know, this is the first one of the first shows of 2017 that all three of us are together again.
Reunited and it felt so good. Okay, yeah, we're not here for the music. Anyway, I wanted
Well,
Yep.
to
do you want to give the fans an update on what you're up to right now, Nick?
yeah, that's a good idea, Rich. Well, first off, I want to apologize to all of our dedicated listeners who I guess like my voice, as they always ask when I'm going to be on the show. But yeah, I've just been working a full-time job as a manager for the back of the house of a busy midtown restaurant, salad restaurant. So it could be very tiring. But then by nighttime, I am my night that runs the site. Again, I've had the unenviable task, I always say it, of covering every single WWE show, pay-per-view, NXT Live Special, ROH television show, the Indies. Basically, it's about 12 to 16 hours of wrestling a week. So
I mean, it's a
I've
pay-per-view. It's like
been,
24 hours.
yeah, I've been watching everything WWE's had to offer. I mean, without main event and Superstar, because those shows don't really count. But basically anything that's relevant on the wrestling circuit, I've had my eye out on it, and I've had a well-rounded grasp of everything you could possibly imagine as far as what wrestling had to offer in 2016. As we speak right now, on the December 19th episode of Raw, which is the Raw after Roadblock End of the Line, a very appropriate title given that there were about, I think, 27 to 29 wrestling pay-per-views if you count the NXT live specials and ROH and TNA and all that jazz. So that is a lot of television to consume. And the good news for you guys is that it's up on the site, every single segment. What did I think of the old day segment? What did I think of Cesaro and Sheamus winning the tag titles? Remember the moment Owens won the Universal title? I got that on there too. Not even that. I got the evolution of the Broken Hardys. Every moment that happened in 2016 that was considered pro wrestling, it's on there. And Lord knows you don't want to watch it like I did, so do the educated thing. Read about it. get a grasp for what I thought of it, because it probably is what you think too. And with that, I'm going to breathe for the next couple of minutes while my esteemed co-hosts take over, like NXT. Haha, get it?
Ah, that's what's up. I like that plug right there. That's interesting.
Very nice.
But
Very
I mean,
nice.
it's a great, pretty smooth right there. Like I said, this is the Rsn Wrestling Podcast. We're getting more and more better. Like I said, we're coming and offering this content to you. Like I said, out of the passion from
Well,
our hearts. We love wrestling.
What was the line that we put in the promo video? We're not
We
knocking
said-
on the door. We're kicking that motherfucker in.
We're kicking that motherfucker in. We're kicking off his fucking hinges. That's what's happening. So, like I said, this is Rsn Wrestling Podcast. 2017 is going to be a big year.
We're the door that Bill Goldberg likes to hit his head against.
Yo, fuck Goldberg. That dude, he blades while he's fucking trying to do it and trying to look tough. Our fucking door, when we knock it down, that shit knocks the fuck down.
They're
going to bash their head. They're going to end up blading.
It's just a door frame after we're done with it.
Exactly. That's how it is. I mean, like I said, we're the wrestling podcast. We're going to change it up. In addition, we got PWO, powerful team right here. So, like I said, nothing can stop us.
We have
We're gonna keep going.
We have the Twitter guy at RSN Podcast.
Oh, yes. We got to say that for sure. Rich is like the big man. He's like the big mafioso. He'll go through the files. He'll go straight to Connecticut, dig like a tunnel from here, from Brooklyn all the way to Stamford, Connecticut. Go into Triple H's office where he has all his files and folders neatly organized of every single plan they have going forward, all their prospects, and he just goes in and takes the shit out, empties it out onto the fucking page, and you're gonna see it right there, smack dab right there before it hits all the big major sites, all that shit. So,
and just to rub it in his face, I'm not cleaning up.
Fucking exactly. That's how it is. So, like I said, we don't play here. But
when I want news, I get the news.
Indeed. And also on the other side, we got, of course, PWO's own Nick Lopez. Not just any Nick Lopez.
The Nicholas J. Lopez.
Indeed. The night that runs the site. So, like I said, you probably give it a whole rundown right there.
Trademark that shit.
Trademark it, punch it down, put that shit down, knock it out. Put it in the bin.
Then we have the runner of YouTube and Google Plus, Sal.
Basically, yeah, the whole kind of headache. So, I mean, Nick has a whole responsibility. We got all responsibilities right here. Yeah. With you, Nick. So, like I said, this is a tight ship we're running, and it's going to keep going. Of course, about 2017. A big rewind. Let's take a step back and talk about the whole year of 2016. So, of course, today we're basically talking about the whole year from January of 2016 to December of 2016. From what I'd probably say, a Royal Rumble kind of lineup, all the way to 2 roadblocks, and then all the way down to, well, actually, last show was probably roadblock, I believe, right, Nick?
Yeah, end of the line.
The second roadblock of the year.
That's pretty interesting. I was like, wow, they have 2 roadblocks. It's what it is, yeah. But I mean,
they I guess 27 pay-per-views wasn't enough. They needed number 28. So
what was the name of the first one?
I wish they would have just named it Armageddon or something like that. But I kind of like the graphics that they put for end of the line. But again, I don't know.
What was the name of the first roadblock? I forgot it.
That was the Ambrose Triple H WrestleMania match, when they were still flirting with the idea that, oh no, Roman Reigns sucks. He can't headline a WrestleMania match again, not against Triple H. So they flirted with the idea of Ambrose, being champion, because that wasn't heard of at the time, but then actually happened later on in the year, and everyone knows this story. But it was basically Ambrose Triple H, so they could run through that scenario. So we were doomed with the Reigns Triple H match that was a bona fide match of the year to no one.
No, it was a match of the year to Kevin Dunn, Vince McMahon, creative.
Indeed. Yes, anybody that basically has that short-minded, narrow-sighted vision of how the wrestling business should be.
A worthy one-person standing ovation.
2 people, Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon. That's it.
Both of them holding hands on that big high horse in WWE headquarters. Only if we could tell them, just jump off, please. Just go ahead and just jump off. Let Triple H take it over. let him on the fucking ship and let
To
him
be
see that
honest,
shit
To be
soar.
honest, I don't want Triple H taking over. He's running NXT perfect. Give it to Shane.
Well, either one.
Could you
Well, the
see
guy
how,
who
could you see how SmackDown's doing?
the guy who used to run NXT is running SmackDown actually. So as long as they keep that up, I'm not gonna complain.
Yep. As long as Vince and Kevin Dunn are not involved in any manner, that's all that matters. We'll see about that.
I
But
guarantee you they're jerking off to a picture of Roman Reigns as we speak. Guarantee it.
of course, anybody that they feel is basically movie star esque. So, of course, that's again that whole. They went from being the bodybuilding kind of fetish that they got. It's now attitude, look, perspective is what it is. But I mean, this whole year, would you say it's full of that? Like this whole year of 2016.
Well, 2016 was the year of surprises, disappointments, big returns, a lot of title changes. But guess what? For all you fans, this episode of RSN Podcast, it's our award show.
It is second year in a row that we've been doing it. We did 2015. Now we're doing 2016. And like I said, we're gonna keep this thing going. But basically, we just go through all the categories, different kind of topics, different kind of things. And like I said, last year we had a couple topics. Guess what? We've added more.
But
So
there's
take a look.
more.
Yeah. And what's that?
There's quite a few that we added.
Of course, there's actually a lot more we added. Matter of fact.
Well, here's a question for the night that runs the site. I have a question for you, okay, Nick?
I might have an answer.
The 2015 year-end in review, is it on the best wrestling site for segment-by-segment updates?
You know what? I think it might actually be because if you go on the best site ever, there's a little section there.
Sal, do you know the name of the site?
No, but I know it's run by one guy, D. Nick Lopez, right?
Yeah. Wait, we have him here.
Yeah. We have him here indeed. Yes, we do. It's Nick.
It's Nick.
It's Nick. We gotta put that on a shirt.
I'm back and better than ever. Oh, sorry, I had Bishop's theme song stuck in my head. But yeah, if you go to extras, click on that little drop-down menu. There's the RSN Wrestling Podcast with all of our past excellent episodes, like the Rise and Fall of WCW. We did the Rise and Fall of ECW, Women of Wrestling. There's a whole bunch of different lovely episodes that I think people are starting to go back and discover. Which thank you for all you people for finding out about it, and for the ones that stuck with us since day one. Well, you really have nothing better to do, but thank you so much. I mean,
We appreciate
fully
it.
appreciate it. Yeah. You're totally not living in your mom's basement. You're going out there and being a person in the real world. Yes, by listening to us, the best people on the planet. But again, if you look on the best site ever, you will find the 2015 RSN Year-End Review Awards. At some point, we'll probably call it the Slam-A-Lammies or the Slam-A-Lama Ding Dongs, or I
We
know
have
at
yet
some
to
point
come
in
up
the
with a name yet.
future, at some point in the future, we're gonna have the
Yeah.
RSN Anniversary Show. So that's gonna be a ball. Bring your own cupcakes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, just remember that. But I mean, well, let's go ahead and go through the categories. Let's say so. I mean, we had our original categories before. Well, like I said, what we did was we kind of compiled all these categories. We got together, put our brains together, and said,
Holy shit.
"Okay,
Sorry
so
to
how
cut
are all
you
the
off,
categories?"
but I'm watching this boxing match. Danny Garcia versus Thurman. Mauro Ranello is an announcer for this boxing match.
Mamma
UFC or-
mia!
No, it's a regular.
It's
It's
annoying.
a regular boxing match.
You probably guessed announcing, but I hate his Mamma Mia. Come on, just
It's
stop. Like it's like, come on,
suicida.
Sorry for the little interruption, but as a wrestling
Mamma
fan, when you
Mia.
see a name, you're like, oh my god.
Yep.
Like Becky Lynch is at UFC 209 tonight.
Well, yeah, her boyfriend's.
He's on the card, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy. I mean, you see all these people. Now it's like, okay, they're kind of switching over. Matter of fact, that brings us to something earlier also. WWE wrestler, contracted wrestler, Brock Lesnar fought at UFC 200, Monumental, did his whole thing. Of course, that controversial win. And then what followed from there kind of set up 2016 and said, Brock Lesnar, UFC? No, 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 not today. And they totally said, no, you're not able to you're not able to compete.
They
So,
released them.
yeah. They released him and said, you're no longer a part of the UFC. And he said, fuck out of here. I'm still making money. I don't give a.
He makes more money in appearing at 3 shows in WWE than he makes in one fight.
On TV, they say he does what he wants and he gets what he wants. Got
it's
it.
Not like he has to
Did it.
talk.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, that's what happens. But I mean, so we kind of basically, back on the topic, we got all together. We kind of brought these categories here and said, okay, this is basically all the categories. This is what we're kind of talking about. What things kind of struck out. And again, it was a kind of conflict of what was the best of what. And it's kind of like, okay, kind of struggle of, okay, what's there, what's going on, and things like that. But, I mean, let's talk about overall, let's say, so of course we talk about 2016, mention a couple things here and there, from the, Royal Rumble to WrestleMania to SummerSlam, all the way down to, down to Survivor Series weekend. There was always something going on. Like I said, things in between, outside wrestling, inside wrestling, all kinds of things. Independence, all that stuff. But let me start this off. What would you say was a breakout star in this whole year for you?
Star. Who do you want to start with?
Well, I mean, what I suggest is this. Of course, so now, of course, this is another thing, too. Last year, we were pretty much restricting it to only WWE. This year, kind of have a little more freedom. So now we're kind of talking about indies, everything like that, all together, all in one. So that's basically RSN keep growing. Like I said, that's our motto. We're going to knock the fucking door down. So let's knock the fucking door down, drop it up its fucking hinges, and talk about this. So I say, yeah, I mean, let's start with you, Rich. What do you think? Breakout star of the year.
Well, my breakout star of the year is a guy who was in Ring of Honor. He won the Ring of Honor. What's the name of the tournament, Nick? Nicholas?
Oh, the Top Prospect tournament?
Yeah. He won the Top Prospect tournament. Now he's no longer with the company. Donovan Dijak.
Pretty impressive, though. I think, isn't he the one that went to WWE?
Supposedly he's going to TNA.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Impact Wrestling.
Really?
Can we call them IW? I don't know. I'm so used to wrestling companies, having 3 letters in their title. But I guess TNA is just filled with many bad, negative associations and connotations. I guess I can't blame them. But yeah. I guess it's a good. Pickup for them. I heard they were interested. I don't think anything was actually made official.
I think it's just verbals. I think it's just verbal right now.
Yep.
But my breakout is Donovan Dijak.
Donovan Dijak, pretty good pick. Young star, breaking out, things like that. It's like I said, there's so many breakout stars this whole year. But
to be honest, he has the look of what Vince McMahon wants.
There's a lot of people with Vince's look, but it's just time to see. You don't have a situation where it's like Ken Anderson or Mr. Anderson from WWE where they had this whole plan lined up for him. He was supposed to be a star, and the next thing you know, he got caught with a pot, and then the whole thing got derailed. So that's what basically comes out. But I think when we're talking about breakout star, we're talking about basically somebody that's changed boundaries and things like that and does different things. So I'll bring out my pick, I guess. So my pick I picked was Kenny Omega. Looking at 2016, looking at what he did more in that whole year than did in the most of the time that he was there in Japan. I mean, of course, Kenny Omega's like a big name. He was there for a long time. He's a big, big name in Japan, around the world, everywhere. Numerous times he's, declined offers from WWE, said, I want to make my name here in Japan first and be a star. I don't need WWE.
Well, what was his quote? I want to be the only star to make it big without going to the big time.
Yeah. Canadian wrestler.
Something like that.
Yeah, and that's pretty, that's cocky coming from a Canadian. Look at the whole line of Canadian wrestlers. Kevin Owens, Bret Hart, who else is Canadian?
Jericho.
Owen Hart.
Owen Hart.
Christian.
Cocky Canadians talking about they want to make
Edge, Christian.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like these guys, they got big time because they had these big plans going outside of WWE. But now Kenny Omega, what I think really sets him apart is the fact that he has this uniqueness about him. He has his own style. He got onto all this stuff, the whole anime kind of deal. Like WWE, everybody, he's getting everybody's attention. So why not, But yeah, that's my breakout star. But what about you, Nick?
Well, my pick might be a little obscure. I guess not really, because let's face it, it was the better show of after the draft, the SmackDown Live. My pick went to a little guy with two hands that had a fighting chance. Yep, he started out as a jobber in a Braun Strowman match. Actually, the first one that he had on the first Raw episode after the draft. That was actually a surprisingly really great episode. If only we knew what we were headed for. Yeah, that's Mr. James Ellsworth. Needless to say, I don't think many expected him to be a part of the SmackDown picture or entangled with the Dean Ambrose AJ Styles feud, but they found a way to include him, and he kind of just helped the feud, stop from being stale, and kind of just brought a new twist to it week after week. As far as like his turn on Ambrose, the shock value portion of it was good. I haven't seen much follow up from it. So I mean, right now from where I'm at, I'm on December 19th. So I don't know really what their plan is. I know him and Carmella get involved storyline wise. I'm curious to see how they make that one happen. But I'm a little bit disappointed. He turned heel and like he didn't really turn heel. I don't really know, but this guy went from a jobber to basically a meme, and then he became a star. So in my eyes, that's a breakthrough in any form of the word.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, well, here's one thing. Look at James Ellsworth's stock from the beginning to now. That guy has he sold probably the most T-shirts that he's done out of any beginner star, like first time star.
And it's just a basic T-shirt. It's a
Yes.
circle with his
but it
face.
has his meme face.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it work.
Yeah,
I'm saying his shirt is just a circle with his face on it. It's a
and
It's the
basic shirt.
legendary facial expression.
Yeah, and I think it's also the demand that the fans were so supportive of him. Like they know that
Wasn't he the best-selling shirt for like a month?
Well, I think he topped. Yeah, he topped. I think a couple of top stars
He
too.
topped
So
AJ. He topped Cena.
it's crazy. It's crazy. And this guy made the most money. So he is a breakout star in his own right. So he's smart in that. So I give that to him. It's
I give Nick that one. That was a good pick.
Yeah, that was a good pick too. Right. I mean, so of course we talk about breakout star. So let's talk about, of course, best all-around sports entertainer. We had a synonymous kind of pick. We all said we wanted Broken Matt Hardy.
Yes.
Broken Matt Hardy. What do you got to say about that, Rich?
Very delightful. It was a delightful pick.
And why?
Just from, you don't even have to be a wrestling fan, and a wrestling fan could just say, "Oh, do you like the Broken Matt Hardy brand?" Every non-wrestling fan knows who that is.
If you told me to either be on one, if you told me, okay, if I was to get called out by a wrestler, and in a promo contest or whatever, I'd rather be deleted by Matt Hardy, Broken Matt Hardy, than be put on a list by Jericho. I'll be bold to say that right now. I mean, that's pretty much all it is. I think that he surpassed.
Well, it's not even that.
Anybody.
Yes, he was in the horrible TNA thing, whatever. But TNA gave him creative rights for 2 episodes or 3 episodes, I don't remember. The Final Deletion, the Great War, the whole thing that took place at the Hardy compound.
Also, all that you can find on PWO. Am I right, Nick?
Yeah, I actually just penned up the Total Nonstop Deletion episode. I watched that last week.
That was the one at the Hardy compound, right?
Yeah. It was
Wow,
everything
really?
I could have thought it would be, and a lot more. But honestly, yeah. I mean, if you told us 8 or 9 years ago that Matt Hardy was going to be the more known Hardy, I think everyone would have laughed. But alas, it has actually happened. The thing is, what makes it work is that it's so outlandish, but it's so tongue in cheek. Like Matt knows how to play off a crowd, and like he just. I don't know where he got that ring attire from. I guess maybe Rebby designed it, but
I like it.
it's so Renaissance esque, and then like his hairstyle was so like I guess it's like Ronald McDonald goes to the social bar or something like that. I don't know, but it was so different and so unique
And the
and
way he speaks is amazing.
exquisite. I mean, no one else in wrestling is gonna talk like that. I mean, he was definitely going for something out there. I wasn't a fan of it the first time they did it, but it took some getting used to. I'm not gonna doubt that. But
How long
once
did it
he,
take you to actually enjoy it?
yeah, once he gelled into it, like it became priceless. And the thing I love about what TNA did this year, Impact Wrestling, is that
Yes, if you have to
it,
call it that now.
yeah, if you look at it, the broken storyline is really a fantastic device of long-term storytelling because it all stems back from the double turn they did with Ethan Carter III and Matt Hardy. Because after Matt turned heel, he became this like big money shot, that the Tyrus and Rockstar
Wasn't the
Spud.
ROH role he had like Big Money Matt or whatever?
Yeah, well, it was like an extension of it, but it was like he got so high up on his throne. Jeff didn't agree with it. They fought it out. Jeff swantoned his own brother, from the rafters, and drove Matt through a table, and that drove him, off the walls to where he became quote unquote broken. And then they started this storyline, kind of similar to like the JBL HBK storyline, where it's like, yeah, you work for me now. So it's like Matt taunted Jeff and called him an obsolete mule, and you'll never be, I don't want you being a Hardy, this, that, and the other. So eventually, I guess it just became so popular that TNA decided to just turn him face, and then
I just ran
eventually
with it.
he
Well,
proved himself enough where they just became the Hardys again. But he became Brother Nero, which was a subsidiary of the whole Broken Universe. And then once it came together with Senior Benjamin, King Maxwell, I mean, the rest is just history. And then the feud with Decay, that almost just writes itself.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well. Let me ask you this then. So, which was the better brainwashing? Do you think in WWE? So, of course, they had like a lot of different things. Of course, I think whenever you're talking about WWE and TNA, or should I say Impact Wrestling? Sorry, not TNA. We shouldn't say that anymore. But
That's a
um,
curse. That's a curse
that's a
now.
curse now, so we shouldn't say that anymore. Yeah, but it's like just like Kevin Dunn and Eva Marie. So of course we dropped all three of them in one sentence. So
Oh, how dare you!
congratulations. Fuck, I messed up. But still, it's just I mean, we kind of anytime we always talk about Broken Matt Hardy and WWE, it's always a comparison with Bray Wyatt. But which do you think was a better brainwashing? With Randy Orton kind of having his own thing, or with what should I say? With what's it called? Like of course Bray Wyatt had his whole thing with Randy Orton, things like that. Where of course I don't know, he did something, and I guess Randy Orton got all brainwashed. All courtesy of Kevin Dunn for doing that good production job. Making his eyes glow. Okay, you're adorable. Okay, we know that. But then of course you got Brother Nero getting that kind of transformation. But
I
which do you
said
think was
Brother
better,
Nero.
Brother Nero?
Brother Nero.
I don't
Because
know.
look how
I can't compare the two because
it's two different things.
Yeah, it sort of is, but I did get a kick out of when WWE kind of copied the final deletion when they had the New Day feuding with the Wyatts and they visited the compound, but it was just like, yeah, we're in a forest and it's really dark and scary and oh look, we're brawling and fighting aimlessly but with no actual story. But the final deletion actually had a proper beginning, a middle, and a conclusion, things that you need to tell an effective story. So I guess it was just WWE just getting on the hype wagon. I'm not too sure. But and I think just the thing with the whole Wyatts was just that they decided to have Orton join the family. I think just because his feud with Wyatt was kind of not working and bordering on absurdity. I
If you can't
mean,
beat him, join him.
they were
Those
kind
are
of
his
doing
words.
hocus pocus stuff, and it just wasn't working. So
Well,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think it was mediocre to see that. Okay, that they would do that kind of route where they wouldn't even explain it. It would just be okay. You know,
This,
Randy would just turn, and
this
then
is the
next thing you know,
story. Enjoy it.
not to say I
it's like
didn't
okay,
like, not to say I didn't like it. I mean, it took a little getting used to, but I think like at least where I'm at right now in December, like Orton's like starting to like settle in to the whole Wyatt image. I mean, he doesn't
right.
have a beard or anything, but and obviously if you're up to date now, there's certainly a lot of fire in the future, but I guess is Orton an arsonist now? I don't know.
No, I think it's
Is
just
this
that
the
one little
character
thing.
Yeah.
that he's portraying, like Orton the arsonist, like Randy Arson, or I don't know.
Well,
And there's gonna be a lot
well,
of
it's like
bad fire
yeah.
probably, but I
Well,
mean, I think people in were kind of guessing this was gonna happen anyway. That it was gonna be a whole, when's he finally gonna turn on Bray? When's he gonna turn on Bray? You know, but the only thing that makes me a little bit angry about it is that they did the same exact thing with Daniel Bryan. Like they had him join the family and like be a member for like a month, and then he turned on him.
But there
Like
was no fire with Daniel Bryan.
yeah,
well, I think it's just a return of the Viper mentality, where he's being this guy that's Well, I don't want to, of course, spoil anything for you, Nick, but
oh
it
no,
kind
you're
of seems
not.
like they're kind of
I already
teasing.
know.
Yeah, so I guess they're kind of teasing a kind of like a classic, or as Michael Cole says, vintage Orton. Like, oh, he's a Viper.
I mean,
The
but
return of the Viper. I
that,
guess, yeah.
that's the
Fucking Michael Cole.
that's the thing though. I feel like
Yeah.
Randy's Viper character was already kind of played out. Like being in the Wyatt family was kind of like reshaping his image.
Yeah.
It took a little getting used to, but I actually think like he started to like serve a purpose, and
Yeah.
I think now that he's going back to the same directionless character he had, around the time of SummerSlam, because his match against Lesnar was truly a classic. Yeah, no, not exactly.
I wasn't. Yeah.
It
So
was a great match for Kevin Dunn.
yeah, it was a 5-star classic.
That's a 7-star match out of 5.
I'll give that 11 stars. That was exquisite action. But yeah, I guess I'll have to see it when I eventually get up to it. I guess probably in May at this rate. But it is what it is. But again, Broken Matt is just it's just what it's all about these days. To the point
Well,
where he's literally the most over thing in professional wrestling right now.
well,
So
can I reveal something about why he deleted from Impact Wrestling?
What's that?
A source, me, being the person I am, found out everything. As you could tell from the Twitter account at RSN Podcast, the Hardys disagreed with the contract that was given to them because the verbal one said for any independent appearance you make, TNA is going to get 10%. Matt said, okay, no problem. But I want creative control over Impact Wrestling. Impact said, okay. When they were handed the contracts to actually sign, Impact was going to take 30% of what they get from independent shows and no creative control. So Matt and Jeff both said, we're leaving. We are done with you guys.
And
So
as a result, it keeps on bringing up rumors of return, right? Return.
Yes.
Yeah, that big word.
I heard something different. I heard that there was a verbal agreement, but that they I mean, I guess part of the pay cut thing was legit, but I heard that they wanted to extend the contracts for a week, and the Hardys
So they could drop the title.
Agreed to do an angle where they would drop the titles, but Impact officials didn't. They couldn't see eye to eye on it. So, and then I guess Rebby, tweeted her frustrations. So essentially, they left with the championships, but not really, because I think now they're doing a tournament or something. It's interesting how it ended up.
And I found out Matt Hardy UPS overnighted the tag team titles to Impact headquarters.
That's crazy.
He put them in a
might
box
as well just
and sent it to them.
Wow. But I mean, it's just like
that is very interesting. It's a very interesting segment.
Yep.
Which is just funny because they could have just brought it to another company's show.
Or they could have done it on social media.
It's not like Impact has that much money. Hey.
Nah, what's up? Money problems. You don't got money though. It's like, god damn. Of course, we're talking about return. So of course that always brings up return. Of course now it's like, okay, WWE's kind of getting the name and they're saying, okay, with Vince and creative about a possible return to WWE. At this point, it kind of feels like
there's only one person who had a great return in 2016.
Well, actually, yeah. Since we're on the topic of returns, yes, I think we all unanimously said there's only one person, but there's many returns. Of course, Goldberg. Then after you got, of course, Seth Rollins coming back from injury, Finn Balor coming back from injury. A whole bunch of other people coming back. The biggest names that got the biggest pops out of nowhere. He's up there on this, doing that.
I think we on the money.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, of course, yeah. So I mean, of course, they handed out that Vincent J. McMahon award, and then we're all thinking, oh, it might be someone big. Oh, it's Stephanie. And then, of course, as money runs in the family, next thing you know,
here comes the money. Here comes the money.
Who comes out?
Money, 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 money. Shane McMahon.
Indeed. Fucking McMahon. Think about this. 2009, he left on bad terms. Beef between the father and son. Oh my God, the son said this about the father. Da-da-da, this, that. And then
it really wasn't bad terms.
It wasn't, yeah. And it was just like...
It was just storyline.
Yeah. And then, I guess, yeah, he, they're just piping that up that, oh, he didn't want to be a part of the business. And then, of course, he came back, whole kind of deal. It was like, holy shit, Shane's back. Everybody's saying, holy shit. And he was sweating. You should see how nervous he was. I thought for a moment he was going to botch.
Oh, I think Vince shit his pants.
I think Vince I think knew, but I think it's just, but I think, he probably did. He probably felt, but after that, of course, he felt very nervous and things like that. Of course, he said all the time, like repeatedly, thank you, Detroit, everything like that.
I think what actually happened, no one knew he was coming back except for Vince.
Yeah.
So he probably got to the arena ridiculously early and had his own locker room away from everyone.
Yeah. I heard it was a secret. I think no one knew. Yeah.
So no one could tweet it. It wouldn't be leaked on the WWE app like it does with the Hall of Fame people now.
Yep.
I think he stood away for a reason, and it paid off.
Yeah, it did. Here's another thing too. It's also one thing also that there's this whole buzz that he left on bad terms and all that stuff. And I think around that time people were thinking, okay, what's going to be a viable opponent for the Undertaker? All these names and everything like that, speculating and all that.
We were throwing out
YouTube
Sting, this one, that one. You could also go on the best. You could also go on the best wrestling site, ProWrestlingOpinion.com, and you could go back on podcasts we had around that time of Shane McMahon's return.
Yep, and also our big shoes.
You're welcome, Nick.
Yep.
Thank you.
PWO, Pro Wrestling Opinion.
3 simple letters.
Yeah.
3 simple letters.
Yeah. But but what are your thoughts on this, Nick? Though, what do you think about this whole thing with Shane?
Well, this moment is more for the this award is more for the moment than the long-term aspect of it. Because if you look at the WrestleMania storyline in retrospect, it made absolutely no freaking sense. All right, so Shane comes back the moment, like, nobody expected it or saw it coming, so the pop was wild. Detroit went crazy. The crowd got so involved, and then we got our big, well, think of it, in a matter of 20 minutes, we got our big WrestleMania blockbuster announcement that Shane is back. He wants to control Raw. So Vince says, "All right, you want to control Raw? That's fine, but to do it, you have to defeat the Undertaker at WrestleMania." And yes, it's going to be a Hell in a Cell match.
That's a pretty good Vince McMahon. That's a pretty good Vince McMahon impersonation. I gotta tell you that.
Oh, thank you, young sir.
Pretty good, pretty good. Am I fired yet?
I pride myself on it.
You gotta say
I'm the
fired.
best looking man on the planet.
Well, Vince, guess what?
My
I think I. Well, Vince, guess what? I think I accidentally burned the Undertaker. Oh,
Ouch. That
am I
escalated
fired?
quickly. But yeah, going
Yeah.
back to my thoughts on it.
Nick, before we continue, can you just say you're fired?
Yeah, we just gotta
Like
have
Vince?
hear that.
All right.
You have to. That was good.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, that was a pretty dope
pretty good.
impersonation. Yeah, it
We
was.
could put you. If we come out with an RSN video game, he has to do the voiceover for Vince McMahon.
He has to. Yeah, indeed, he has to. It's like, of course, I bet Vince, if you're hearing this, if you got some voice recognition technology on your shit on your phone, we got it. We're gonna put your shit on lock, guarantee.
What a
Let me get
maneuver!
Nick over there. What a maneuver, Mamma Mia!
But yes, going back to the back to my point. Again, this made no sense because the whole appeal of the Shane Taker match was if Shane won, he would get control of. I think at the time it was the company.
Yeah.
But if
Full
Shane
control.
lost,
But I guess it's like
I
it's
forgot
like
what the stipulation
yeah.
was in that case.
It's just
But
retarded. It's like there's no point. They just go ahead and say one thing, and then after that, it's like, you know what? After Mania, he comes out beaten up, and he's like, you know what? I guess I'm done. And then Vince is like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna give it to you. A big fuck you to all of us. It's like, wow.
which shows you if you work really hard and you tease like you actually want to make a difference and you strike outside the big corporate American office, it probably won't make a difference, but
Yep.
maybe they'll give it to you anyway.
They'll still give it to you.
It's America.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess people were pleasantly surprised to see that he would become an authority figure, on the SmackDown brand,
Right.
which is kind of funny to see, like Foley and Steph are kind of like this awkward, like odd couple, like pandering duo, and then like Shane and Bryan are basically besties on SmackDown. So
They're like the people basically the two people that are most loved by the people and all that can relate with them and all that stuff. It's like a presidential election. Well, of course, we don't want to talk about the election because 2016 was the year of pretty much that whole kind of thing. In the books, a WWE Hall of Famer or Celebrity Hall of Famer is our president of the United States. So, of course, we don't want to dwell more into that. But, of course,
we all got trumped.
Yeah, we all got trumped indeed. But,
but we're not going into politics.
We're not going to politics indeed. But, well, of course, 2016, a lot of matches, a lot of fights, a lot of different things. Of course, you had, whether you're Republican, Democrat, whether you're,
Didn't they do a Hillary versus Donald Trump match or a Hillary versus a Obama match? Or is my memory?
It was
my memory's slipping me.
Well,
it
didn't
was
they
Trump versus?
Was it Rosie O'Donnell?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, and I think TNA. That's the one that where TNA was. They were chanting TNA.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, that was horrible. But then, I think they did do something with. Oh no, they probably did it on. They did like a simulation, I think, where it was Hillary versus. I think like a WWE thing to promote a WWE video game. It was so retarded. It was like, come on, man. Like, We're really gonna stoop down to that level to get publicity.
Well, they do that for all celebrities now.
Yeah, they pretty much do it for everything now. So I think they have like celebrity matches. If you go on YouTube, wherever it is, but it's what it is. But of course, so we're talking about matches. A lot of matches. We talked about this before. If you go through the whole list of different kinds of matches and everything like that, and all the companies, thousands of matches. So out of those thousands of matches, there's one that sticks out in the whole year. So all three of us kind of had this whole kind of thing, thinking, "Damn, what are some very good matches for this whole year?" I'll start with mine. I mean, for me, I think the biggest match was the one that was very, very early on in the year, January 4th, 2016. AJ Styles.
That's
What happened?
it's as early as it gets.
Early as it gets, indeed. The 4 days into the new year, this match I think kind of solidified what that year was going to be like. AJ Styles versus Nakamura, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom 10, the big event. Basically, their WrestleMania. It was a headliner. IC title was on the line. Big event. A lot of spots. A lot of interesting things. I think that match alone put them both on the map. Of course, there were rumors that they were going to sign, things like that. But I think WWE kind of paid attention to that and said, biggest workers. And I think Vince kind of looked at it and said, wow, these guys do actually have some talent. And I kind of brought him into saying, okay, maybe there is something else beyond the guy that has, that can be an actor or, anything like that is what we need too. So I think that kind of did it. Both of them are perfect technicians, real good performers. Nakamura is fucking excellent. AJ Styles phenomenal as he always is.
You know the ironic thing, right? They both became champions.
Yeah, that's right.
Like at the same exact time too. Like Nakamura's NXT champion, while Styles was WWE champion.
That's crazy though. And also in the same year, which is kind of, yeah, right. There's a whole bunch of irony in this. It's
Not
crazy.
even the same year, like maybe 8 or 9 months after.
Yeah, so it's very surreal. It's like thinking that. And also, of course, the big thing: AJ Styles, Finn Balor. I think every member in the Bullet Club, 2016 was their year.
Yeah.
Every major title, was held by the Bullet Club in every major promotion.
Too sweet.
It was sweet all day. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, that's for me. I think for sure that kind of solidified right there. Any other match after that kind of just said, you know what? I think this is gonna last for time. But what about you guys?
My match of the year, I believe I put for mine was Cedric Alexander versus Kota Ibushi.
CWC, which is phenomenal.
I
thought it was a
great
match.
up on there.
Yes. By the way, PWO. Not the only 3 letters, CWC, but also on PWO. So definitely you could go on there, check out his whole analysis of that. But like I said, in depth. You go on the site, you're not gonna see something about, one guy won, one guy lost. No, this guy goes in depth. What was the sequence? What did they do? Everything, and you can picture it in your freaking head. Sometimes when I'm in class, I'm looking at that site. Sometimes I can't look at the actual event or the video, so I just pull up the site, looking at it. I'm kind of picturing it, dozing off in class, and I'm like, damn, I gotta go home and watch this. I can't wait to go home and see this right now. And when I see it, it's like, wow, EWO did keep me informed. So check that out, Pro Wrestling Opinion. That's for you, Nick.
Thank you.
Well, what'd you say, Rich? So you said, but why Kota Ibushi and Cedric? So
it was just perfect.
Wasn't that the same night that they were like, oh, you should sign Cedric, where the people were chanting, please sign Cedric?
Please sign Cedric. Please sign Cedric.
And then Triple H was like, yeah, okay, no problem, I'll do that. That was a phenomenal match.
He didn't even say anything. He just came out, patted him on the shoulder,
and a thumbs up,
and basically gave a wink like he's going to get signed.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was a phenomenal match. I think that match kind of defined the whole CWC in a way it did.
Either it was just perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything about that match was just brilliant. Ibushi is such a excellent worker, and everything that he does, he really does have the stiffest kicks in the business. And
Yeah.
I think it was a good time for Cedric too, because he had kind of floundered in his stint in Ring of Honor, and he also made an
It's
appearance
just
on a
it's
couple of
just a shame though.
AML wrestling shows. But it came at the perfect time for him too, because anyone who's like tracked his career back in early ROH knew about the CNC Wrestling Factory. His team with Caprice Coleman. They knew what he was capable of. But this was actually like the chance to get to show it, and like just the action was just so nonstop and dramatic, and you really didn't know who was gonna win or move on. So eventually, the match did have a finish. Cedric lost, but he really won. But I can't help but think he kind of lost because he's been kind of just lost in the shuffle of the CW of the cruiserweight division, outshined by like other guys like TJP and Kendrick and Swan. Not a knock on those guys. Those guys are really good too. But Cedric's kind of just been under the radar. He's got like a on-screen relationship with Alicia Fox, who is like his cheerleader on some shows, and then like the crazy ex-girlfriend on others. So I'm not really sure what they're going with that. But just based off his wrestling ability alone, like Cedric was able to have his moment and really make his career right there. And I don't think anyone's gonna doubt that was the moment that Cedric got noticed. He did have a couple of moments on NXT too, where he was the recipient of Andrade Almas's heel turn.
Yeah.
So that was actually a pretty cool moment in and of itself. But obviously, when you look to Cedric and WWE, the first thing you think of is Kota Ibushi and the CWC, because that's what put it on the map. I heard about the match even like a month before I started watching the tournament. Well, actually, that's my fault because I fell so behind. But again, when you watch every single episode of every single show and every single pay-per-view 2016, Lord knows, ain't nobody got time for that.
That's
Except
right.
me, because
That's
that's what
right.
PWO does.
That's right. That's right. The one man show, one man, the night that runs the site. That's how it is. But I mean, we're talking. So basically, we're talking about. Well, Cedric. I think Cedric and Alicia Fox. That's kind of a. It's kind of a. It's kind of like, okay, Vince wanted it. Of course, we know where he's trying to go with this. It's not gonna work. It's like, come on. But of course, I mean, well, here's some news right here. I'm finding out. Of course, right now, I think simultaneously right now, an ROH event is going on, and supposedly Bubba Ray Dudley showed up, which is kind of surreal. I mean, it's like,
Who
I mean,
just
on the same
signed?
topic.
He just signed to Impact.
No, he was
Again?
about to. No, I thought he was about to. He was thinking about it, but he
No, he
declined.
was at the taping.
Wow, this is an interesting time for wrestling. But I mean, it's like, well, to bring it back into this topic right here, we're talking about, of
The
course,
only
Cedric
thing I
and
can think
Alicia.
of is Impact Wrestling is making like a coalition with Ring of Honor where their superstars could appear on either show.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're probably gonna go down that indie route where it's like, okay, similar deals. It's good for the wrestler. They're making money at the same time. It's good for the business, so that's good. But I mean, back on the topic, we're talking about, of course, Cedric and Alicia Fox. I think it's the same thing with like Bully Ray and Velvet Sky. Like you see that, that's like a perfect pairing. Of course, all the pairings in the whole wrestling industry,
Wasn't it
and you see
Bubba and
this.
Brooke?
Was
Yeah,
it? Well,
Yeah,
I
it was
think
Brooke
Bubba and
Hogan.
Brooke, and then also Velvet didn't. Oh, Velvet was actually married, I think, right? With or engaged to Bully, right?
The on-screen relationship I remember was Bully and Brooke Hogan.
yeah.
Ah, I see.
And then it ended up being Bully and Brooke Tessmacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ended well. But yeah, I guess we'll call it my turn now. But yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
my match of the year. Once it happened, I already knew it was set. We've had a couple of close calls come and kind of rattle the throne, but nothing could really shake it. And obviously, most people will probably point to this match as theirs as well. It's been critically acclaimed across the board, and who can blame? This was Zayn and Nakamura from NXT Takeover Dallas. About as perfect as you could possibly get it to be. Not only was the actual match itself full of drama, high tense situations, we reached the near fall nirvana, as I like to call it in my reviews. The build going in was brilliant. You know, Zayn was kind of like the heart and soul of NXT, looking for the next big challenge. Bam, GM Regal finds his next competitor, and who else is it? Shinsuke Nakamura just appears on the big screen, and Full Sail University loses their shit. Like, it just made sense. It already was the marquee bout headed in, you know, and I think people were eager to see how Nakamura was going to do on a WWE platform. So we already had that ounce of curiosity headed into the match. Once the actual match began, like Nakamura's entrance just kind of stole the show. People weren't singing it yet, obviously, because they didn't know about it. But that match legit gave me goosebumps. Like after it was over, back when I was covering things live when they actually happened. Well, Takeover Dallas I watched the day after, but it still gave me goosebumps. Like there's no better way to describe it. Like I was wondering
Gentlemen,
if
I have
Nakamura
breaking
was
news.
gonna lose in his first match, but you know they played it brilliantly by having him win and seeing coming so close. So just imagine every single spot each guy could do against each other, because this was an indie dream match in every sense of the word. Like, we got all of that and more. There's nothing's gonna compare to it. And it kind of put the takeover specials on the map as, you know, the predecessor to the big four pay-per-views. Like, you know, if something's gonna happen, it's gonna be happening on Takeover. You could bet your dollar on that one.
Gentlemen, I have breaking news. Very big, big breaking news. Sal,
Yep.
you want to hear the breaking news?
What is it?
The Hardys signed a Ring of Honor contract at the event.
Oh,
So now they are Ring of Honor wrestlers.
Well,
I don't
that's what
blame
it said. That's what it said on Wikipedia. It said they were signed to ROH.
But anyone can edit a Wikipedia page.
That is true, but it said it like an hour ago, so I'm not sure if maybe like the official word got to the sites now.
I guess it was just assumption. I guess people just going by assumption. Like, you know how the wrestling, of course.
Because they appeared at the show. So they figured, oh, they're signed.
Well, I guess maybe they figured because they're already under the broken gimmick over there, I'm assuming. So I guess the easiest way they could keep it is to just go over there and do what they're already doing.
And I mean, it's not a final say, because I think whenever someone, like, it's not like, I think that like ROH is pretty flexible. They don't go ahead and discriminate. They don't go ahead and bitch about, okay, you know, you're on this company. Oh my God, you know, you're fucked up. Where WWE's kind of like that, but like WWE's trying to be this kind of thing where it's like, okay, do your indie dates, but don't let it conflict with what we're doing. So, like I said, it's not final say. It might be that they're doing it for the money, which I don't blame them. And ROH needs that kind of thing, so why not? And then also it kind of benefits, them, because they're making money. But then of course it also sets up path for what's going to happen later on. Maybe WWE run. Hopefully, we never know.
Well, now that the Bucks of Youth, as the Hardys call them, lost the titles, does that mean they're going to go to Japan only with the Bullet Club?
I think they're going to stay in Japan. I think at this point, I think the what you call it, the writing's written on the wall. I think for the Hardys, I think they're either going to retire with WWE for sure, or they'll probably do a couple matches and then things will happen. But what I see happening for sure in 2017 is this: WWE 2K18. Jeff and Matt Hardy are going to be on the cover. We're doing some kind of sponsorship deal, and then they're going to bring them in for sure. I can see that.
Because like they did with Kurt.
Just like maybe with Kurt too. Maybe Kurt. It might be that,
Or what I'm thinking is that they met with WWE. Maybe they wanted to bring them back on some kind of Legends deal.
Yeah.
And maybe they saw ROH as the better option to keep the broken universe going. That's why they went with them.
Money-wise, maybe too. So it's a lot of things, but
I don't think you could beat WWE money-wise though.
But you think it's probably if WWE is going to give them that money, well, I think WWE has said we don't really need them. It's just a matter of you using what's there, like just maybe using them for some extra stuff if they need to, maybe to promote something. Like that's kind of psychology behind using legend talent. It's like let's use them for maybe a rivalry or something, or something like that. But I mean, it's hard to tell. But at this point, like I said, there's interesting things going on. We just gotta see what's gonna go on from here. But like I said, we got PWO, you got Rich who's on the Twitter site, and you got me, pretty much right here. Well, we got all of us pretty much just doing all this kind of thing with the shoots and all that stuff, talking about this. So stay tuned for that. But we're talking about rivalries. So there's a lot of rivalries in 2016, monumental ones. But which one do you think stuck out the most in your mind?
We had monumental ones. We had shitty ones. We had mediocre ones. We had all different types of ones.
I'll give it to you, Rich. How do you feel about this? The rivalries. What's the most?
I think we all agreed on this one.
Yep. Well,
I think it was Charlotte versus Sasha.
Well, yeah. So I mean, before we go into that, let's discuss our botch of the year. I guess we'll kill two birds with one stone. We also not anonymously, agree with this. The walking botch, Eva Marie. So Eva Marie, in any kind of sense, is a fucking botch. So that pretty much is just what it is. So we'll just end it there, and we'll focus now on us.
Eva Marie wakes up and she botches herself getting out of bed.
And to think, this woman was supposed to be the projected star for the women's division.
What was she? The Rock of the women's division?
Yeah, supposedly the big time star, but where's she now? We're so complicated if she's still with WWE. Do they still have plans with her? Are they even doing
just throwing it out there. The Rsn podcast was blocked by her on Twitter.
Nice. We got this whole list going. We just gotta keep it up. But I mean, talking about Sasha versus Charlotte. I mean, Nick, just elaborate on this. I think you've probably been around this you've been exposed to this as most as possible, like compared to both of us. What are your thoughts on that? Like, why Sasha and Charlotte?
Well, if you've watched 2016, well, the ironic thing is that the whole Sasha Charlotte Banks match kind of became a thing after the draft. That's when it picked up. But then it was kind of foolish to think that the belt changed hands 7 times since July 25th of 2016. So think about it. That's
Charlotte
nearly 5 months.
Sasha won it at the Raw event. Charlotte won it at the pay-per-views.
At the pay-per-views that Banks would defend it at. So it was kind of, it was kind of cool, kind of see. In the end, it kind of made sense, kind of because it helped elevate both of them as competitors, and it elevated the championship at the same time. It's like just when the feud started to get tiresome, like they knew what to do to kind of wake it up. Like they would have a match that still steals the show, and we'd be right back at square one of all right. I want more of these. I want these two again. And then they gave them like gimmick matches galore. We got a Falls Count Anywhere match. They did a 30-minute Iron Man match. They did a couple of traditional wrestling matches that sold the show. They main evented a pay-per-view. They main evented a pay-per-view with a Hell in a Cell match. They main evented a Raw. And then they main evented a Raw with the Falls Count Anywhere match because they were literally breaking ground and making the quote unquote revolution that was supposed to be what Stephanie McMahon pushed for the year before with the whole hashtag Divas Revolution thing. And those two have such fantastic chemistry in the ring. It's like there's no going back on just what they could create. The only thing I didn't like about it was that it kind of limited the creativity of the Raw women's division, because other than them fighting for the title, who do you really have? You had Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, and Bayley, and then supposedly Evolution or the makeover of
Emelina.
Emelina or whatever the
Emelina.
hell her thing
Oh
is.
my God! Don't
I
even
don't
get
think
started on that.
I think she's gonna debut in like 2019, at least from where I'm at right now, because they've
Wow,
been
you're giving her the
advertising her
benefit.
since like
Really?
September,
Wow.
and it's
Nick's giving
December,
her.
and they're still
Nick's
Yeah.
giving her
having her in it.
2019. Wow.
Yeah,
So it's
because
just
what
a
happened
little
was
frustrating, but you know
yeah.
how good it is that we can get things like Sasha Banks and Charlotte. You know, it kind of also stifles the creativity aspect of storylines as far as what else we can get. But nobody's gonna deny how great a Sasha Charlotte match can be. We have many examples of that.
Oh, they were perfect.
And
Those matches were spot on.
if
Yeah.
you really want a full on like review of just how historic the feud was, the video package for their roadblock match is about as perfect as you could mold it to be.
Yeah, I
Like
think. Yeah, I
they
mean,
did
I
it.
think.
They did that
Yeah,
build perfectly.
that was
You
pretty.
know
Except
what
for the
else?
Ric
Yeah,
Flair stuff, but I won't
that,
get
that
into
was.
that.
Yeah, that was pretty perfectly. I think what I also liked also was the fact that they included all these kind of variety of matches that were never seen before. But
Do you know where
but
else you could see reviews on Sasha versus Charlotte match?
of course,
ProWrestlingOpinion.com.
3 letters from now on. Whenever, what I suggest, whenever we're plugging, what I would suggest is kind of like this. We're just gonna bring up these 3 letters: PWO. I think right now what I gotta do for you, Nick, is pretty much make a whole NWO logo style with the PWO and just write PWO. And
And then on
cool.
the bottom where it usually says New World Order, Pro
Pro
Wrestling
Wrestling
Opinion.
Opinion. Yeah, I must do that right now. So we're like I said, we're working on this. You're gonna see that. So that's one thing. But
Well, Sal, do you want to
it's,
tell the
This
fans
plug
the
was paid
news?
for by PWO.
well, here's one thing. I mean, there's many things that we're working on. We're still working on it, and once it gets finalized, I guess we'll just start, fully talking about it. But for the time being, we'll kind of hold it. I guess we'll hold it for now. So,
Give him a
like I
little
said,
give him a little preview.
what I can say is, what should I say? A lot of uniqueness. That's what I tell you. A lot of unique kind of stuff that we're gonna do here. So
We might be in the production of possibly having merchandise. Possibly.
yeah,
No official word yet.
like I said, yeah, possibly. So we'll have to see from there. But like I said, it's just mostly just seeing what we're gonna do.
It's gonna
And
be
we're
nothing big. It's gonna
yeah,
be hats, hoodies, pins, stickers. That's it. Nothing
yeah,
big.
that's right, that's right. But like I said, but from now on, like I said, we're basically talking right now about Sasha and Charlotte. I mean, think about this. Sasha and Charlotte, they started the year, going through this hot potato kind of stuff with the title. It was kind of like, what are they really gonna do with this? It's like, what kind of way are they gonna go with this? It really doesn't say, it's like, okay, what's gonna happen? It didn't have any structure. It was kind of like they just want to establish some kind of.
Oh, sorry to spoil something for you, Nick, but in early 2017, the New Day, mainly Big E, had one quick little one-liner that was perfect for Charlotte.
Yeah, that's right.
Your father was a 16-time champ. That means he had to lose the title 15 times. You'll get that within 6 months.
Yep.
No, actually, ironically enough, that's the episode of Raw I'm watching right now. So he made that reference on December 19th, and the line was Ric Flair wouldn't have been a 16-time champion if he didn't lose the belt 15 times. And then Big E added, that'll be Charlotte in a month.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought that line was hilarious.
Response. Yeah, I mean, well, speaking of Sasha, I think we'll just go from here. The woman wrestler of the whole year. Of course, there's a lot of women in wrestling industry. Of course, with SmackDown kind of developing their division. Really good development.
SmackDown has a great women's division,
especially in 2017. But of course,
headlined by my girl Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I mean, but for now, we're talking about 2016. I'd say for 2016, I mean, we all agreed Sasha Banks is the woman of 2016. I think for sure. I mean, all her matches, all her things.
I have a different opinion on that.
Oh, really? Oh, really now?
Really? It's a dramatic turn of events.
Well, here's a question for it. Who?
Well,
or should we be saying who or woo?
Woo!
Woo!
Men's wrestling.
Women's. Oh, okay.
That was also
All
the
right.
that was
title of
good.
one of
That
my
was good.
Raw
That was
reviews
good.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think we all got the idea. So you're saying Charlotte?
Well, yeah, because what I'm gonna say is
8
Charlotte
million
kind
time
of
champion.
she really grew her character from being the woman that said "woo" all the time and did the figure eight. She really came into her own as a heel character. I think
That she did.
I
I
think
give her
maybe
that.
even to this day she's still the only woman that could really get strong heel heat just by just standing there and not saying anything. Like she
And
appeared
having a
at I think she
and having a
appeared at a
friggin'
takeover
dog
event
as
and
her
she got
sidekick.
booed, like just for
Yeah.
being on camera. So it really speaks it really speaks volumes about how great she was, on the mic at really working a crowd and getting everybody to hate her.
Yeah.
And she really came as the standout heel in the feud with Sasha. Now,
Yeah.
before Sasha
What also
came
gave her
to
heat
the main
was
roster, she
her
was a really
friggin'
good
dog
heel.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a really good heel, Sasha on NXT. So I was a little bit disappointed to see her be the face in this feud, but they managed to make it work. And when you steal as many shows as Sasha and Charlotte did, it's really easy to tell a story. And I think Charlotte really reaped the benefits from that rivalry. Winning the belt and losing it so many times, but at the same time, she really did it did it on her own, really.
Well,
Yeah.
here's a question for both of you. Well, for all three of us. What was your favorite Charlotte Sasha match? Like a little subcategory.
I'd probably say one of the Raw main events, because I think the Raw main events kind of outshined what was on the pay-per-views, because it was either a disappointing result or it was kind of like something there. But here's one thing also. One note: every time they were on Raw and had a match, it was always a main event.
Yeah.
So that's gotta say something.
My favorite one, the Falls Count Anywhere, when Sasha won via bank statement on like the guardrail, the handrail, whatever.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one.
Mine was the very first one, the one where Banks won the match, and that was July 25th. So
What about that Hell in a Cell match where she was like having the Mick Foley moment where they were having her strapped onto there and it was always teasing like, oh, she's injured and she comes back in the match.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
I respected it for being different, but I don't think it compares to the greater Hell in a Cell matches we've seen. But again, I respect them for going out there and trying something different.
Yeah.
And really like trying to steal the show through other means. Plus, I think having two other Hell in a Cell matches in the show before them kind of killed whatever they tried to do. Plus, I think Rollins and Owens had the better Hell in a Cell match of the night.
Yeah.
But again,
They
I
wanted
respect them for what they tried to do.
They wanted Charlotte to do a moonsault off the hell.
No, Charlotte wanted to do it, and Vince turned it down.
Yeah, which is pretty. I mean, even that was the first time women were in the Hell in a Cell, so that enough in itself is historic. So
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so I mean that's one thing. But
you know what else is historic?
What else is historic?
The fact that NXT's specials were amazing.
Yeah, I mean speaking
the
of
night before,
yeah, right. I mean, well, speaking of NXT, we talk about women. They have a whole list of women that are like they're transcending. And I know you have a couple of favorites, and I thought the same thing. I was like, you know what? I thought the same thing. Like it was like an Alexa Bliss situation where it's like, you know what? They're not gonna do nothing. And then after a while, you're kind of saying, damn, like they really got some talent.
I called Alexa Bliss being great in NXT, but someone named the Mastermind disagreed.
Yes, and I always said that, she just has to look. She's not gonna get anywhere. But that's one thing.
Look where she is.
Yeah,
2-time.
I think she actually benefited from the draft.
Yeah.
Getting onto SmackDown was the best thing that happened for her because she was able to stand out, in contrast to the Walking Rave, that's Naomi, the Irish firefighter that was
kicker.
The last
she was
kicker.
able to stand out and kind of get to be herself, and it really worked.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it kind of did rejuvenate her career, but now it's kind of like
Freaking
we're talking
Murphy.
about.
Freaking Murphy's
Yeah,
a
we're talking,
lucky son of a bitch.
yeah. I mean, we're talking about women in NXT. What about like of course we have a NXT Woman Pick of the Year, and I think honestly I think me and Nick kind of chose I think Asuka as our pick
Yes.
as kind of the
Yep.
Woman of the Year.
Mine was
And
different.
yeah, and I think you had someone that of course I'm doubting that I doubted before. Same kind of situation like Alexa Bliss, but I think now has some potential.
My pick.
And who's that?
My pick is, no matter what, without a doubt, Billy Kay.
Yeah. I mean, I look at that and I'm just like, I thought, oh, she's not gonna be that talented. Da, da, da. She just has to look, but she's starting. I'm trying to catch on. I'm like, you know what? She's pro okay. I see some development. Okay, but I mean, with Asuka, look at her. Like, she's like the Undertaker of the women's division. I think at this point, like she's that
She's
big force.
like the Daniel Bryan of the NXT Women's
Yeah.
Division.
You can say Daniel
She
Bryan.
wrestles
Fine
like
stuff.
she's got
Yeah.
that style. Well, she was a big pickup for NXT from the get go, and she came in with a
What was
lot of
her?
hype.
What was her name in the Indies, Nick? I forgot.
It was Kana right there. KNA.
You know, I actually don't recall, but I think it was. I don't think it was anything. I don't think
Nothing
it was anything
outrageous.
Yeah, it wasn't anything outrageous. It was just something regular. But here, let me look it up now.
Well, I'm gonna make a
Kana.
Kana. She started. Yeah, I think it was Kana.
Well, I'm gonna make a new category right now. Future breakout star for NXT. Ember
I know
Moon.
you're gonna say Amber Moon. Yes. So
Well,
of course,
yeah,
honorable mention. I think we just say the honorable mention probably.
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm still not completely 100% sold on Billy yet, but I do see potential with her and Peyton Royce. If you follow my NXT reviews, I call them the Aussie Mean Girls. I shorten it to AMG.
I see it.
So
That's
it's
pretty
just
dope.
like it's just
I
like
like it.
kind of like the women's
Nick, you should
division is
trademark that before someone by the
Steals it.
name with the initials KD takes it.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'll 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 take pride in being the brainchild of it anyway. I
Yep.
don't need money. But anyway, yeah, I think the NXT Women's Division 2016 is just kind of like a work in progress. Because it's like here you got Asuka, she beat Bayley, which is like the most headline match you could have of the year. And then Bayley moves on to the main roster. Asuka kind of just like keeps kicking ass. Then she's got her little run-ins with Billy and Peyton. And then at the same time, you have Ember debuting and making a good impression. Well, she already had a notable indie stint in the independent scene, with like Shimmer and other places like that. So people already knew like the caliber of talent that Ember was gonna be. So even like right now, I think they're
Question for
grooming
you.
her.
Did you
I think they're gonna be grooming her to be the one to beat Asuka at probably Takeover
San
wherever the
Antonio?
hell Orlando, I think it is.
Yeah, Orlando.
Yeah, most likely.
So watch, mark my words. Ember's gonna beat Asuka for the title, and they're gonna do the whole changing of the torch thing, kind of like at Takeover
Passing.
Dallas. Bayley passed it to Asuka.
Basically, like what they did with Finn and Nakamura.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
basically.
Joe, and basically Joe too. Joe and Nakamura, of course, and all that. Yeah.
You can see it right now.
Here's a
Yeah.
question for you, Nick. Are you up to where Sanity comes in?
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah,
Okay,
Sanity was
so
involved by the time.
I think Nikki Cross and Ember Moon are gonna have a great rivalry.
Yeah,
Well, Nikki Cross, I think Nikki Cross and like the whole insanity thing. I think that's a lot of character development. I think that's what's kind of working in her favor. Whereas, like, if you see Peyton Royce and basically them, there really isn't that much thought into what they're doing. They just basically, they see them as these kind of pretty girls.
Hey,
They're
come
doing what
in
they're
and
doing.
then just be mean girls.
Yeah, just be mean girls. No creativity. It's like, okay, just basically be the beautiful people. All right.
That's a good comparison. Just not as beautiful as Velvet Sky and Angelina Love and Madison Rain.
Yep. You're the expert on that and that. But yeah, that's basically what it is. But we have to, just keep on going from there. It's kind of like, things can happen. Things are changing. More women are becoming in. Like I said, this whole women's revolution. The women and the men are at the same level now, so things can change. But of course, speaking about the men now, so let's talk about, of course, NXT's biggest stars in the men. I think we all synonymously just said that our pick for best star of 2016, performance-wise, on the NXT roster, has to be Samoa Joe.
No, sir.
Ooh, another dramatic turn. What's this?
My
Really?
pick for NXT Male Superstar of the Year, Shinsuke Nakamura.
I think they're both in the same boat. Wouldn't you say?
Well, they
Nakamura had more a positive reaction when he came in.
Well, look at let's look at their careers. They kind of parallel each other and kind of cross over. Because think about it, like Nakamura was there in New Japan, making his name,
his
kicking
whole
ass.
career.
Yeah, his whole career was all Japan, and he made his name there.
Joe was in Ring of Honor, then TNA.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at this, like, look at their transformations. They were staying where they were. They were loyal, and I guess like they transformed over time. Like, of course, you look at Shinsuke Nakamura, and then now 2015, you see a big transformation. If you were to do like a picture of Transformation Tuesdays, you see a whole big thing between Joe and Joe back then, Joe now.
He lost a lot of weight too.
He lost a lot of weight. He looks totally different. Like, it's crazy. And over the years, he's changed his look. And then, of course, as you see them kind of go into what they're doing and moving on to their careers, they start going ahead and converging into WWE. It's a perfect marriage right there. I think that's perfect because it's good for their careers. It's good for the fans because everybody knows Joe. Whenever they see Joe, it's Joe's gonna kill you. And then Nakamura's always, everybody knows that he's a bad motherfucker with those fucking shins. He'll fucking like knock your head out from under.
He stole Samoa Joe's nose.
Yeah, and that's the most hilarious thing. That was like the most hilarious segment. Just to piss off a guy and get in his head. Joe's all getting riled up like a big bull, like cutting promos and everything, talking
you
with his
would
mouth.
think the normal person would just fight back, talk shit. No, Nakamura would just sit there, laugh in your face, and steal your fucking nose.
Yeah, steal your fucking nose, right? Touch you, and that's it. And then you get mad. That was hilarious to me. But it speaks volume, man. I think they both work for each other. They both are like, they work perfect for each other. Well, and it's good.
The one thing I'm gonna miss though is, well, no, I'm not gonna say that because that's gonna be spoiling for Nick. So cancel that. What I was just about to say.
Well, the reason why I'll pick Joe for NXT is mainly because through whatever he was given, he was able to adapt and really be one of the few heels on NXT that really knew how to work the smart crowd. Like, just get them to like hate him, like no matter what he did. And I think it was going to be inevitable that he was going to feud with Nakamura. Most people saw it coming, and I already kind of seen that Nakamura was going to win the NXT title, just given his name recognition and all that. Like, why wouldn't you have him lead the NXT brand? But my favorite storyline, at least on NXT, was the portion where Nakamura beat Joe, and Joe kind of teased like changing a new leaf. Turning a new leaf, and he he asked him for his rematch, and Nakamura said, "Yeah, okay, all right, no problem." And so Joe walks off, and then Nakamura celebrates in the ring. Joe comes back while Nakamura is celebrating on the stage, and he wallops and beats the holy hell out of him, and then he does a bookend on the steel steps, injures Nakamura for 6-7 weeks, storyline wise. So during this point, Joe gets restless waiting for his rematch, and he ends up putting the whole NXT roster on notice and demands either Regal give him Nakamura or surrender or give him his championship. So we have at this point where Samoa Joe
who was it? Someone big was supposed to debut, and Joe just beat the living shit out of him.
Yeah, it was this performance center talent called Dan Matha.
Yeah, there you go.
Cross-eyed Nathan Jones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think also here's one thing that kind of draws parallels to what they also did. Like I said, again, I think we're all agreement on this. I think we were talking about this before. person that should be in the Hall of Shame is the Raw creative team, because basically the Raw
The Hall
creative
of
team.
Shame.
Yeah, there's no creativity with them. If you see, there's also a similar situation where it was the same kind of path with, like Joe was on. It was the same kind of thing with Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman did the whole same exact thing where he got
No,
mad.
let's give you 4
Yeah.
jobbers who aren't going to get a hit in.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and just have you go ahead and fight like this, and just have you do it. And then next thing you know, bam, Joe just did his thing, and that's it. I was like, all right,
Bro.
what is? Yep. Braun, right?
Yeah,
You did it. You did it. Braun, right? But that's the thing. It's like Braun. It's like it's the same kind of deal. Braun's basically doing his thing. He's beating everybody in the locker room up. He wants something from the management, and then basically the thing. I think for a while people were thinking, oh, they're gonna cross paths. Joe and what you call it? Joe and what you call it? Joe and Braun are gonna cross paths sometime. Didn't happen, of course, and then later on, of course, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But
they're gonna cross paths eventually.
Eventually, but we'll see. So of course
Andre
that's
the Giant
that.
Battle Royal. There you go. That's when it's gonna happen. Mark my
What
words.
about? Well, let me ask you this: what about some honorable mentions for best star NXT's best stars?
Finn Balor.
Of course, Finn Balor. I mean, he left. What about Ty Dillinger? Let me ask you guys about that.
10, 10, 10, 10,
Do you,
10,
do
10,
you think
10.
he's developed as a star?
Oh, without a doubt.
From 1 to 10, how much?
10.
I give it a 10 also, for sure.
That was just too easy of a question.
That is indeed. But I mean, there's also a whole bunch of other stars. Let's talk about look at Rich Swann. Of course, he's in the cruiserweights right now. Became a champion. This all this stuff. I mean, look at him now. He's on the twilight of his life. Look at all the pretty much they kind of restarted his whole career. Look at like there's many different names that that have benefited in NXT that were top stars in 2016. And now they're they're doing bigger things on the main roster and elsewhere. CWC, 205 Live. They're doing a lot of big things.
You're leaving out a very obvious choice.
And who's that?
Who is it?
Who is it? I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think too.
We said Finn. We talked about Joe.
We said Nakamura.
We said Nakamura. We said
You mentioned
Ty
Ty.
Dillinger. Ty Dillinger.
You mentioned
Who else?
Sammy.
Sammy.
Nicholas.
Hard to tell exactly.
Nicholas.
He might have stepped up. He might have stepped up by accident. He probably exited out.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to think now.
Really, really trying to think. I mean, let's. He might be trying to look it up right now.
I'm trying to think. Trying to think of people that are called up. Neville.
Which other individuals were called up? I'm trying to think. Nick, who else was it? Were you trying to go back to find out who it was?
Who is it?
Who is it?
No, I was trying very unsuccessfully to play the Glorious theme song.
Oh shoot! Really?
Ah,
You're
yes.
right.
And I guess Kevin Dunn didn't like it, or someone out there didn't applaud it because I got knocked off the call.
Ah, that's what happened.
We forgot the glorious one.
Yep. Of course, Glorious Bombs. Everybody knows about Glorious Bombs. He's in the bathroom. He gets past. He's like about to fuck him up. And next thing you know, he's like, nod. Walks away. That's epic. It's epic.
Who does the glorious bombs?
Very unglorious.
Of course, I know it's the pick of tag team of the year, right, for NXT, right?
Yes, it's my pick, the gentleman of DIY.
Hashtag DIY. I mean, for us, I think when we kind of look at tag teams, there really has been a lot of
There's a lot of good teams from NXT. There was BAMF, the Blake Alexa Murphy factor.
Yep.
There's DIY, obviously.
Authors of Pain. Yeah, Authors of Pain. What about the Revival? Yeah, so of course, originally we both talked. I think it was me and Nick. We both picked the Revival, but now I'm starting to think.
Well, there's one thing about them that I'm waiting for. I'm
What's
waiting for their call up.
Yeah, up to this point, we haven't seen them.
I hope they go on SmackDown.
I think SmackDown definitely needs a team like that. It kind of reminds me of Arn Anderson and who's he with?
Tony
Khan.
Khan.
Yeah, Blanchard.
Yes. Charlie Blanchard. Yeah. It's the same kind of deal right there, and look, it's kind
They're
of good to see an
basically
old school tag team.
all American, no flips,
No
all
fists.
fists.
Yeah, old school. We need a team like that. I think they need a heel. That's basically somebody that is just boring. People just hate. That's bland.
But the thing is that, like, don't get me wrong, I like the Revival, but they're not boring.
They're not. No,
You
what I
have to
like.
be an old school wrestling fan to appreciate the way they are.
Yeah, what I think makes them most, what makes them like most stand out is the fact that they're able to, what should I say, heel tactics basically. They kind of revolutionize
Oh,
being a heel.
they friggin' dirty win so many times.
And it's crazy.
That's what makes them get the hate.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the tag teams from by decade by decade. You see they keep on
There's
having
always that
stuff like
one
that.
team that's dirty factor,
Yeah,
but they're so popular.
and we didn't have that for a
Every
while now.
every era has that.
Yeah, and I think for now in a long time, for some time in a long time, we haven't seen that right now. But now we kind of see
Well,
it with, of course, the
it
Revival.
wasn't in WWE. It was always in another company. Like if you go to TNA, you had the Dirty Heels, who are both now in WWE, particular NXT. For all those fans who never watched TNA, that's Austin Aries and Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
Then you also had
what about the Bromance?
Bromance. You had Bad Influence, which converted to the Addiction, which is now broken up.
Yeah, which is a whole. Of course, so many different tag teams.
Then you have the Young Bucks. Then you have any co-team inside the Bullet Club. Yep. They're all dirty heels. They win with dirty tactics, which makes them the most hated team in wrestling. Which is, in my opinion, I prefer the heels over the faces.
Yeah. I mean, what about like the Mighty Don't Kneel, a new tag team that hasn't, really gotten their footing yet? Yeah,
that's TM61 for the people who don't watch overseas wrestling.
Yeah. So of course, the tag team scene is getting more and more interesting. But I mean, let's move on to the main roster. Look at pretty much all the tag teams, even after the draft. So many different tag teams, so many different styles.
The Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. Right. I remember that. It's just so many different things. It's just like I think the draft, like I think we can all agree on this, is that the draft definitely did rejuvenate the whole roster, the whole landscape of everything.
Well, it also helps that Raw got all the bigger names, but SmackDown got somehow magically that whole 3 pick to 2 whatever fucking dumb rule that was.
Yeah,
SmackDown actually got the better part of the deal.
Yeah, they did, of course. But I think what also is good for them is that they're developing new kinds of talents. So, I mean, of course, we kind of picked the best tag team of the year.
If the no chin person is getting more airtime than Roman Reigns, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Which was Nick's breakout star of the year. Speaking of Nick, don't you run a site?
3 letters.
P W
O.
Not NWO.
Say no more.
It's not NWO. It's not the BWO.
No.
BWO. That's the Blue World Order for all the old school fans that never watched ECW.
Right. And this isn't some, this isn't the Wolf Pack or anything like that. PWO, Pro Wrestling Opinion. Check it out. We'll talk to you about it.
Nicholas. Would you like to say anything about your site?
You know what happens?
Say no more, fam.
Those 3 letters. You know what happens when we talk about the best segment by segment breakdown on the freaking internet? You know what happens when you read reviews about Raw, NXT, Impact, AML Wrestling Live, West Coast Wrestling Connections, and a bunch of other great companies? You know what happens?
You do not make the list. If you don't go to the site, then you make the list.
You just made the plug.
That was smooth. I like that.
That
That's
was.
right.
But if you
Right.
go to the site, you do not make the list. If you
So
ignore what we say and you do not go visit the site, then you make the list.
the choice is yours.
Do you really want to make the list though?
Do you really want to be on a list, or do you
Don't be a
really?
stupid idiot.
Don't be a stupid idiot.
Do you
That's
want
how
to
it
go?
is.
Do you want to go to the Hall of Shame?
Would you like to join Kevin Dunn, Jim Cornette, Eva Marie? You
Vince
can go on and on.
McMahon.
The Raw creative team.
More
Choice
to
is yours.
come. There's more to come.
Yeah. Choice is yours.
You're going to get.
Yep.
It.
No, they're gonna get the gift of Nick.
Smooth.
Drink it in, man.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. But I mean, of course, we're talking about tag teams. I think we both said for sure. Me and Rich, of course, we said American Alpha is our team to go. But
My boys, the Alpha of America.
Gable and Jordan, hell of a team, one hell of a performance. What a development! They went from winning the NXT tag titles this
Here's a
year.
little trivia for you guys. Who was Jason Jordan's original tag team partner in NXT?
I think Ty Dillinger.
Correct.
Yeah.
The original tag team partner was Dillinger and Jordan.
Really. And it's interesting that this came out of nowhere. Like, it's kind of natural. It's kind of like a natural kind of development. Like, a team
Because the
forms.
original thing was he was looking for a partner, and he had this little annoying guy who was always bothering him.
Yep.
Saying, "Oh, I'm the great partner for you. I'm a former Olympic medalist. I was in the 2012 Olympics, and I'm ready, willing, and Gable to be your partner." Jordan just kept pushing him off. He finally gave in. Boom. They went on like a 20-match win streak. Number one contenders for the title. Lost the title match. Had another match. Boom. Win the title. I think it was in San Antonio.
Yeah.
They won the titles.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of interesting that, they won it from the Wyatt family, which is a pretty strong team of it in itself. So that's something to say.
Alpha? They won it from the Revival.
No, I'm talking about a SmackDown tag title. So
I was talking about the whole evolution of American Alpha.
Yeah. I mean, well, compared to Cesaro and Sheamus, where it was just, okay, let's just put these two guys together and have them win the titles. Or a little bit of development with these bullshit ass, what should I say, backstage segments of random jobbers or PCP.
Wasn't it a friggin' best of 7 series that brought them together?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pointless.
That
it was
was
like, okay.
horrible.
It was pointless. It was like, okay, the 7, and they were supposed to get, one of them was supposed to get a title shot. Didn't happen.
The winner
so
of the
what was the point of
winner of the best of 7 was supposed to get a title shot.
You know that hashtag waste her time or waste his time? Waste our fucking time. 2016. That's basically what WWE was doing the whole time. They had WrestleMania, they did this, and they kept going. What's wrong, WWE? Come on. Raw. You gotta do something.
That's why you made the Hall of Shame.
That's why I made the Hall of Shame, indeed. But I know, Nick, you said that your tag team of the year is different from ours, right? What a coincidence, right?
Who
did you pick?
I actually forgot who I chose.
Nicholas.
The ironic thing about it is there's so many tag teams, so many moments.
Your pick was the New Day.
Originally, I think, right?
That was your original pick.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are you thinking now?
I don't even remember.
What do you think now? What are you thinking now? So, what do you think is running through your head? If you were to pick a tag team, what would you say?
Because, looking at SmackDown, there's not really a lot of depth to it. I mean, I kind of like the Slater-Rhino duo, but I felt like they were kind of a novelty just to kind of get Slater over, and then you had Rhino there.
He has kids. He has
Yeah,
kids.
Slater definitely benefited from the draft too.
Definitely.
But they weren't the pick. Alpha was in it.
The
Although,
Club, Enzo and Cass, Sheamus and Cesaro,
nah.
the
What about
Usos,
what about out of WWE?
the Hardys.
We were talking earlier about Broken Hardys. How
I
do you
think
feel
that
about their
I think
That was
transformation?
it. Yeah.
that was the Hardys.
Yeah.
Broken Universe strikes again.
Yep.
Yeah, I had the Hardys set
Ha,
because
delightful.
Mhm.
Very
they did
delightful pick
something,
there, Nicholas.
Yep.
they did something exquisite with all the premonitions and all the great television specials that you can go back and read about on PWO #cheap plug. But yeah, basically by October, the Hardys became the Broken Hardys, which was a horror-esque take on their, legendary team gimmick. So it was a treat to watch and watch it all go down. Obviously, now if you're listening to us, you learned a little golden nugget that involves Summit Ring of Honor. So the Broken Universe is not dead and appears to be alive and well.
Yep.
So
That's one
that
thing.
only speaks to how great of a 2016 they must have had for a 2017 to keep on rolling.
That's right. That's right. And there's interest. There's demand in all the different companies based on what they're doing. So that's something that's there. Of course, WWE is very interested. Of course, ROH. Any big company wants to get on that bandwagon because, of course, they're getting the social media recognition, they're getting attention, they're getting people to kind of see what the wrestling industry is all about.
Did you say
So-
social media?
Yes, I did.
You could hashtag Big Brother and watch it on Pop TV. That was making fun of Josh Matthews.
Really. Well, we should actually. Well, he might be a future inductee into the Hall of Shame.
Just for the fact that he sucks at announcing, or the fact he told a fan to go kill themselves on Twitter.
Well, that too, but there's also one more guy that's, well, matter of fact, I think we're making history today by putting 3 people into the Hall of Shame.
Who-
We got the Raw creative team, we got Josh Matthews. How about Tom Phillips?
Nicholas?
Yeah, he's totally doing sexual things to faces.
He wants to face fuck the shit out of someone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man!
That was fucking retarded.
I mean, it could be worse. Like it's kind of like think about this. It could have been David Otunga for his worst commentary. It could have been, Brian Saxon for all his stupidness and being an idiot. But Tom Phillips, he's probably one of the farthest names I would say between those. I'd probably pick those 2 first, and then him probably at the end. But
I
him as a
actually,
number
I actually
one,
liked him. Tom Phillips is
I
a
actually like
good
him too.
announcer.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to see that this guy is he's like that.
Well,
It's like,
Nia
whoa.
Jax made fun of him.
Yep.
I forgot who posted a picture.
Well, Chris Jericho and Owens made fun of him on a regular basis. I actually kind of think
Didn't they
it
switch his
worked
name like
because
5
it was
times a
Tom
day?
Phillips.
It's Mean Gene Okerlund basically, but in
Didn't he-
the True Era.
Didn't Jericho and Owens switch his name like 10 times in a segment?
Yeah, they called him Felipe.
Brad. They
Yep.
called him like 5 different names.
Tim.
But Kevin Owens, when it was Kevin Owens and Tom Phillips, that's magic right there on the screen. So that's basically Mean Gene Okerlund and Andre the Giant.
It's Tim.
It's 10, top 10 right there. But that, I think what else is left? We have, let's see.
WWE Superstar of the Year.
Well, actually, before we get to that, we got Best All-Around Wrestler. So, of course, we talked about Best All-Around Sports Entertainer. Now we got Best All-Around Wrestler in the whole company.
I know this one we all had different picks.
Yep. But basically, whenever we're talking about Best
Let's start
All-Around
with
Wrestler,
Nicholas.
we're basically talking. I mean, whenever we're talking about this, is basically just person that has the best ring performance, charisma, things like that, drawing the crowd, getting reaction, getting pops, getting knocks, all that stuff.
Nicholas,
what do
who
you
is
say,
your
Nick?
pick?
For
Best
Wrestler.
all-around wrestler.
so many to choose from, oh my god, who am I gonna go with? AJ Styles. Yes.
AJ,
Mamma
really?
mia! I mean, did anybody look at the year this guy had? I mean, he started out. Well, you started out in Wrestle Kingdom, and then less than a month later, in the same month, actually in a month span, he main evented ROH's Final Battle against Jay Lethal for the title. He wrestled on Wrestle Kingdom and had a classic with Shinsuke Nakamura. Then at the very end of the month, he debuted in WWE as the third man in the Royal Rumble.
But no one knew who he was because they focus on Roman Reigns' stupid face.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess they had to make him look strong, but So,
But that's strong to the point where they zoom into his confused face. Kevin Dunn. Kevin Dunn. Shame
That
on
was
you. Shame on you,
that was
Dunn.
Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon in the back. Like, we have to make Roman look good, make him look good.
I can picture right now. They're in gorilla. I can picture right now. They're in gorilla position. They're looking at the screen. Hey, zoom in. And they're gonna like zoom in on freaking Roman. Come on, zoom in on Roman. Otherwise, you're fired. And they're like looking at it. And next thing, you're like, holy shit. Okay, we gotta keep this up. We gotta keep this up. No one's gonna listen to AJ. Fuck it. Meanwhile, the crowd's going crazy, and it's like, what the fuck?
If you actually look on YouTube,
how is that AJ Styles? No.
Who the hell's AJ Styles? What the hell's AJ Styles?
if you actually look on, you can actually look on YouTube. One person has footage of the actual entrance without Roman.
Thank God. And that was all shaky though. That's the thing.
Hey, I'll take it over looking at Roman's face.
That's right. I mean, it's kind of like, and then also Kevin Dunn going, oh, no one's gonna really understand who AJ Styles is. I mean, it's like, what the hell, you know? Who the hell's AJ Styles? I don't even know that. Roland's a bigger star, of course, you know. He looks like that James Momoa guy, you know. You know that James Momoa guy, that guy that's playing Aquaman. You know, you ever heard of him?
You mean the guy who could actually play Roman Reigns if they come out with a WWE movie?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I guess they're just trying to create another Jason Momoa, but it's like, Kevin Dunn, just calm down. You're not a director. You're directing or actually producing a wrestling program. So sit down your seat, get a bib on, shut the fuck up. But he's like, you know, that's what it is. But
who is your pick for Wrestler of the Year?
I think we all picked it, right? AJ Styles.
No, that was WWE Superstar of the Year. Wrestler of the Year, we all picked someone different.
Oh yeah, all around wrestler, right? Yeah. So I mean, all around wrestler, I think I picked was Cesaro. I mean, Cesaro, he's a workhorse. He's a fucking monster. Why not just I'm kind of frustrated. It's like this guy. I was for sure. Like I was thinking, okay, I think I made this prediction like a while back. Who's gonna win the Royal Rumble or the nearest Royal Rumble? I thought I was gonna say Cesaro right there.
We both said Cesaro.
Yeah, we both said Cesaro. And then this guy just, you know, they have him do this kind of thing. He basically gets into this program with Sheamus. I guess they kind of said we have nothing for him. The fuck you mean you don't have nothing for him? He's a fucking wrestler. Have him be fucking champ.
What did Vince say? He's boring. He doesn't have a fan base. He doesn't get a good reaction.
Meanwhile,
he has a fucking Cesaro section.
Yeah. In 2012, he was all over him. Now it's like, no, he's not. You know, he's not going to be a star. That's that. Not yet. He's not ready. He's not ready. What do you mean he's not ready? Look at the crowd. Like the way he controls the whole crowd. That's something. And also another thing, he's enjoying it. That's the best part. Most stars you see, they're kind of, you know, they're living their gimmick and doing a thing. But Cesaro, he can be himself. He can make the crowd pop, but also he's enjoying it.
He Facebook Live during Sheamus matches.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's the thing. With this guy, he's charismatic. He has that whole cocky attitude backstage and even on TV and things like that. But, you know, of course, that's, I think, what attracts people to him. He makes it into something that's, you know, beneficial for everybody. But why not, you know? And this guy could speak, like, what, almost 5-6 languages?
7 languages.
Why not have him be a freaking ambassador? Instead, you got Cena speaking Chinese. Like, okay, fine, you know, he has a look. But why not this guy? He can be, like, a European star right there. But they don't want to do that.
Well, my pick for all-around Wrestler of the Year goes to a man who performed at WrestleMania, performed at Final Battle, performed at Wrestle Kingdom, performed at Bound for Glory, and at what Culture Pro Wrestling's big pay-per-view. His name, he goes by the American Nightmare, future leader of the Bullet Club, which, by the way, I got right by predicting that. Cody.
Cody Rhodes. I mean, that's also one thing. He performed at Wrestle Kingdom. He wrestled at Bound for Glory. He wrestled at WrestleMania. What else? Of course, Final Battle, and of course, World Culture Pro Wrestling, and then of course, other events here and there. Did he fight at House of Glory too?
I believe so.
That's one thing. I mean, of course. I mean, look at his whole year. He said that I think he made a list of what people he wanted to face or his dream matches, and he's nearly complete with that list, right?
He has a couple more to go.
So that's something. I mean, of course, it's like because you got to think about it. It basically comes down to he wants to be successful in WWE, but the thing is,
And his wife is a wrestler too.
yeah. So it's like he should be successful as a wrestler. Like of course WWE was kind of holding him down, not letting him do anything. There was no mobility, but now like he's doing all this stuff by himself. He was on Arrow, that's one thing, and again he did it by himself. He didn't have WWE.
And he also is one of the only wrestlers who you could give a gimmick to, and he'll run with it.
Yeah.
They gave him Dash and Cody Rhodes. He ran with it for 2 years. They gave him Stardust. He ran with that for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's teamed with his brother.
It's shades of Dusty Rhodes, pretty much.
But
then,
I think he's great.
Yeah.
Cody is so great.
Yeah. I mean, well, here's one thing. It's an oh my god moment, right? Or a holy shit moment. When Cody's, basically in the Bullet Club or, all that stuff, he's basically showing up on a show, doing his thing.
Which by the way, I predicted on the RSN Twitter page at RSN Podcast.
Yep. Indeed you did. You called it, I think. But I mean, it's like, when we're talking about holy shit moments or oh my god moments, there's a lot of them this year. I mean, of course, big ones, small ones, medium ones, things are okay, whatever it is. But I think for this one, this is another category that's kind of debated upon between all of us.
It's a controversial category.
Yeah, it is. I mean, of course, here at Rsn Podcast, like I said, last year wasn't like this. Last year we kind of had one pick for everything, and we just did from there. But here it's like, we kind of have. It's hard to say because 2016 was a really good year. So.
Oh, it was a great year in wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, well, oh my god moments. Let's talk about it. So, Nick, just tell me what you think. What was your oh my god moment of the year, or holy shit, or whatever explicative you want to give? For a moment of the year.
The holy fuck moment.
Holy fuck, the holy shit moment. Oh my fucking god. Marking out moment of the year.
What would you say? It's a little bit difficult now. Looking back at everything. I think Shane's jump off the Hell in a Cell was crazy in of itself, though a little bit maybe overrated, but in terms of like everything else we've seen during the year, that I always go back to that as like the oh my god, no, he didn't just do that moment. So in terms of just shock value, I guess that could be it. I mean, close second would probably be Adam Cole joining the Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the shock value angle that was well done? I just wasn't a fan that it interrupted a main event title match, and we didn't actually get a finish from it.
Actually, you can't say that probably is an oh my god moment because, of course, we were all like, holy shit, Adam Cole's part of the Bullet Club. That kind of shocked a lot of people. That kind of put a lot of people to say, well, holy shit, anything happened.
Nothing. I'd also have to give it to when Broken Matt Hardy appeared on the screen at Final Battle.
Yeah.
Literally, I don't think anybody saw that coming. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, what about, of course, returns like, let's say Goldberg, coming up on Raw. That wasn't really a oh my god moment. It was just, they announced it and I was like, oh, okay, he's coming back. All right. That was one thing. But then also, like, of course, there's big moments, like, of course, like you talk about Shane, jumping out. I think we had that before. I think Rich, he had that, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's my pick for OMG moment of the year.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty big of itself. I think at WrestleMania 32, as we were watching, we kind of had an idea there's going to be some kind of spot.
It was just a matter of when it was going to happen.
Yeah, when it was going to happen. And when we saw him climbing up the cage, we knew exactly what was going to happen. We're kind of like, okay, he's definitely gonna jump from there. Okay, it's crazy, ludicrous, but he did it.
But in a
And
fan's perspective, everyone knew Undertaker messed up because he moved the minute Shane released off the cell.
no, I think that was on purpose, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I'm saying that kind of messed up the whole thing. He could have waited like another second or two.
No, but I think it's also. I mean, one thing also. Think about this. You have somebody like Shane Stature coming from off like 30 feet down into the ground with an elbow drop. Think about it, elbow drop straight to a man that's lying flat in resting position. So I mean, I'm thinking about it from a physiological perspective. Like, think about the gravity. As you kind of come down
Yeah.
more gravity's acting on you. You start, it's getting more power. There could be a point where you're kind of breaking a bone. You could, break through the table, things like that. Break some bones, other people's bones. I think Undertaker did the right thing moving out, kind of like holy shit. Like it was kind of like it kind of brought back memories of Mick Foley jumping, being thrown off that cage, where
Oh, that
Undertaker,
was.
Undertaker not just being reckless and saying holy shit. And I think afterwards he's kind of said, I feel bad for doing that. But it was like okay, it needed to get done, so you got to give him credit. But I mean, for me, I'll tell you what my God moment was here was AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns. Extreme Rules. The goal was to make Roman look good. I think that match of in itself was pretty. It was pretty okay. It was pretty mediocre. I mean, it was pretty all right. I mean, like you saw all this kind of things. You saw many spots. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like from the get go, they just started from the match and just started going straight into it. One spot that really stuck out to me was AJ Styles' forearm smash to Roman straight into the announce table. But if you think about the way it was executed, it seemed like he was gonna botch that. But what's surprising, he didn't. That's I think was the beauty of it.
I thought Styles' springboard 450 onto a table at TLC was also a really awesome spot.
Yeah, and it basically brings down to AJ Styles like experience and it's all like his whole experience level. Like it's like he can do a lot. It's just a matter of like how can you execute it. And that's the thing. Like if you look at Kevin Owens, he's been trying to do all this stuff and he has this clear mind in his head of what's gonna happen. But there's been many times where it hasn't happened. Like for example, if you try and spark flash someone onto a table, didn't happen, and their friends are chanting one more time, one more time, one more time, and he actually does it and get breaks the table. But like with AJ, it's like every time he hits, it's perfect, no botch, everything's okay. So that kind of
Well,
brings it up. But
there's one category we didn't discuss yet,
yes,
which we all just said the name.
yep.
WWE Superstar of the Year.
Too Sweet, Bullet Club, 2016 was their year. But if you're talking about individual star, hands down has to be AJ Styles.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look back. 2016, well, actually, late 2015. We're right here in the same spot, doing our whole, the year in review awards and things like that. And we're thinking, okay, AJ Styles' contract is up. Rumors are starting.
As
What's
always.
gonna happen? Yeah, and we're thinking, oh my God, what's gonna happen? He's gonna come
Oh,
to
is
WWE.
he-
He's gonna come to WWE.
Is he going to sign with TNA? Is he going to re-sign with New Japan and Ring of Honor? Is he going to go to another company? No.
Will he
goes.
stay in Japan?
He goes
will he
to
stay
the
in
big
Japan?
show.
And I mean, of course, some of us are thinking, holy shit, he's not. It's not gonna work. They're not gonna give him, all that power. It's not gonna be 1, 2, 3. They're probably gonna put him in NXT. What's gonna happen? And of course, as time got closer and closer, more and more questions, and then big night, Royal Rumble. We talked about it before. Zoom in the Roman Reigns face, and then who comes out?
Roman Reigns fucking dumb face.
Yep. And then of course AJ Styles. Royal Rumble debut lasted a whole 30 minutes into the match, which is phenomenal. On your debut in WWE.
I think he eliminated like 4 people.
And to think he was so close in his first match, it was for the WWE title. That's kind of surreal to say.
Then he goes on and feuds with Chris Jericho at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Of course, in a losing effort, but then of course
2 months later, he's getting the SmackDown title.
Yeah. Well, actually, that was I think later on after that, wasn't it?
It was
after the draft.
September,
yeah. So I'm guessing. I think it was mostly just the Bullet Club kind of teasing that, and then what ended up happening, of course, Finn Balor getting injured. Kind of things didn't occur, and then what ended up happening was everything kind of fizzled out. Plans were kind of taken out,
defeated with
and then of course,
And then
Yeah, he feud with Cena.
after he, I guess, won the feud with Cena, he moved on to the championship and won it.
Well, let's talk about the AJ Styles and Cena matches. I mean,
5-star matches.
5-star matches indeed. I mean, I look at that and I'm kind of like a lot of near falls, a lot of good matches, and it really did set a tone. It's kind of set the story. Because if you think about it, it's kind of like,
Which one
okay,
would you say was the best match?
SummerSlam.
I say SummerSlam.
yeah, I mean, of course, I don't want to spoil what happens later on. Of course, later on in the year in 2017. Like I said, it kind of falls straight into 2017. But like, of course, yeah, I'd say probably SummerSlam was probably like the culmination of all that, and then pretty much they just piggyback off of that later on. So, but that's something there. I think, yeah, for sure. Like, you look at all these matches, they were 5-star matches, and the way they built it, it was a story. They kind of made it. Well, everybody was benefiting. Of course, AJ Styles was becoming this young star, getting in there, getting the championship, things like that. In his first 8 months, nonetheless, in WWE, on his first year, it's kind of surreal to say. This guy, it was his year, and at the end of the year, of course,
He headlined Wrestle Kingdom, debuted at the Rumble, performed at WrestleMania, had a 5-star match at SummerSlam, wins the title, all in the matter of 9 months.
And here's another thing too. He's been in every pay-per-view. He's been competing in every single pay-per-view, right? In 2016, right? So that's another record too. He's been in every pay-per-view for the whole calendar year of 2016.
You know who the last person to do that was? Perform at every pay-per-view?
Yeah, Seth, right?
The freaking man, Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins. But of course, he got injured. He came back and all that stuff. But if you would think about it,
it wasn't on Night of Champions.
I think so. Yeah. No, for Seth.
No, AJ.
Because it was a Raw pay-per-view.
So it's not technically every pay-per-view.
No, you talking about when he won the title, or?
I think he was talking in general.
Oh, I think. Well, he was there. I think Night of Champions. Yeah.
No, Night of Champions was a Raw pay-per-view.
Same for Hell in a
No,
Cell.
they had Clash of Champions. I think that's why they had Clash of Champions. Right. I think No Mercy, and then what else? Backlash.
It was every SmackDown pay-per-view he's been at.
Yeah, he's been probably literally probably every event he's been at. Like every month in the whole calendar year, he's been performing without injuries. That's one thing too.
That's the thing about AJ. He's I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, that's one thing too.
Because watch, the minute I say it, boom, Tuesday he's gonna get hurt.
Oh man, that's bad because of the track record of different people. Look at 2015. Look how many people got injured.
That was the year of the injury.
The year of the injury, and it kind of fucked up the whole picture for WrestleMania 32, and kind of demolished everything what they were planning. So of course, things can happen. I mean, of course, I think AJ had that one thing where he tweaked his ankle or something. I think at Backlash.
Yeah, but he was fine though.
Yeah, he was fine from that though. But I mean, of course, look at it, like James Ellsworth and AJ Styles. That whole build up there, a jobber,
and he split his pants.
And he split his pants. Yeah, that's one thing too. So
that was probably like one of the highlights of 2016.
Yeah, I mean it's AJ Styles is one hell of a character, and I think we can all agree that he did adapt to the WWE style. So no doubts, hands off to him.
Very quickly too.
Yeah, very quickly too, and that's surprising, And I think from the beginning of the year we were saying that he's probably not going to get the shot. He's not going to be a big star. WWE's not going to give him the opportunity. But now, I think, I guess WWE now they're trying to see that there is some value in, the whole indie stars and everything like that. They're starting to see that. That's a good thing for everybody. So,
all these pay-per-views that AJ has performed at and didn't perform at, you could read reviews about them.
Yes. And where can we read them?
3 simple letters.
3 letters.
It's not NWO. It's not BWO. It's not TNA. It's not WWE. It's not NXT. It's not ROH.
3 letters. Say no more.
Nicholas, would you like to say the final one?
Oh. Can I do it?
Do it.
Yay. PWO.
PWO. Pro Wrestling Opinion. You can check that site out. Like I said, in-depth reviews. Say no more, fam. Say no more. You go on that site, You see in-depth reviews. You get to see every single thing as you're picturing it in your head. You could be in class procrastinating, which we don't endorse here at Rsn Wrestling Podcast. But
Yeah, we want you guys to pay attention, stay in school.
yeah, stay in school, kids. You know that. But of course, if you're
Don't
like
be-
me, of
Don't be vegan.
course, don't be vegan. Of course, that's a major thing. Of course, that's what we want to promote here. But that's one thing too. That's like I said, you go into that site, you get in-depth reviews. I can tell you for sure. You don't know how many times I couldn't watch Lucha Underground because either one, my Sling membership is down, or I wasn't able to get access to the episode or things like that. Got to see the review of the episodes, and I was like, damn, all right, that's what's going on. That's what's up. You stay intact with wrestling without losing the bloodline and saying, fuck, I don't know where I am. I'm lost. So that's good. He's going to keep you in the loop.
And
That's only one guy.
Same thing goes for me with ROH.
Indeed. And I mean, that's one thing too. So Rich also is running the Rsn podcast Twitter page, which right now has kind of grown. We started, I think, early 2016, about probably late, probably about late 2016, late 2016.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's you go on the site, you get to see up to date rumors before it hits it. He has his whole little tunnel. Like I said, he goes straight to Sanford, Connecticut, goes into WWE files, reaches out all the stuff, leaves a mess. Just so Triple H knows, and Triple H is like probably nodding up, going,
Don't clean up.
Okay, and of course, he just goes in and said, all right, whatever, and then gets all the news before it hits the mainstream. So you can check that out.
As I'm on my way back in the tunnel, I tweet it.
Yep, of course, at Rsn Podcast. So that's one thing there. But also, in addition, we have our YouTube page. We have our social media. We're on Google Plus, by the way. We're also on Facebook, SoundCloud. We're trying to get some things up on there and everything like that. But nonetheless.
Well, I'm gonna do the outro.
Oh yes.
From the guys at the Rsn Podcast, we have the Knight that runs the site, the CLO, Nicholas Jason Lopez.
That's me. Yay!
We have the Mastermind Sal.
Yep. What's up, guys? See you guys then.
We have the Big Guy Rich.
Who is the Big Guy Rich? Yep.
This is the RSN Podcast. We spell wrestling. You're not wrestling. WWE isn't wrestling. We are wrestling.
Indeed. Best way to put it.
We are wrestling. You're not. Signing out.
Peace out, guys. We'll see you then.